Hello, welcome to the fourth house with Mamita, and today I wanted to talk about how to find the chart ruler, the ruling planet in your natal chart. Now, a lot of times when people are looking at their horoscope in the magazines or in the newspaper or even here on YouTube, people will look for their sun sign, and that's fine, but that's not going to be as accurate as if you look for the horoscope of your rising sign, or it's also called the ascendant sign. And that's because the ascendant really sets up the whole chart. And so when astrologers are making horoscopes, what they're doing is they're going by houses, and usually it's going to be in an equal house system for generalized horoscopes for a mass group of people. But they're going to look at the house systems, and I'm going to talk more about house systems in other videos. I did do a video already on the first house, but each house will represent a part of your life, and if a planet's going through that, or if there's aspects hitting your own personal planets from transits planets, this is why it's kind of important to know your rising sign. The other reason is because if you want to keep track of these transits for your day-to-day horoscope, you're going to really want to also keep track of the planet that rules your chart, and that's the planet that is associated with your rising sign. So for me, I'm a Libra rising, so my ruling planet will be Venus, and so I have to watch out very much for my own natal Venus, and I have to really study it and get a grasp of it, but also I have to keep in touch with what's happening in transit Venus right now in the sky, because not only will the other transits affect me, but especially to transit Venus, I have to be careful of it because it's affecting the first house, the body and the face and the material me right now, the outer me right now. So that's one of the reasons why knowing your ruling planet and your ascendant sign is really important. So if you don't know your rising sign or your ascendant sign, you can go on to, you can just Google birth chart calculator, and there will be a bunch of them that show up. But you will need to know not only your birthday and location, but you need to know your birth time, and it needs to be pretty accurate, because even in my case, I had a discrepancy with which if I was going to be Virgo or Libra, because it's a difference in 1 minute, and you can kind of get some astrologers do rectifications and stuff like that, but it's very important even up to the minute to know as close as humanly possible. And most, if you're American from the States, most of the most birth certificates will have your birth time there. So we can go into now so how to find it. So if you go into Google and you type in birth chart calculator, you'll find a whole bunch of them that show up. I personally like to use these three websites. Astro.com is awesome. It has a ton of resources free for you to use. So you just go to Astro.com, free horoscopes, you click on it right at the top. A little menu will come down, and I think it'll be natal chart reading, and then it'll ask you to add a person, and you'll probably have to sign up if you haven't done so already, and then you put in everything, and then it'll come up with a chart, and then on the side of it, it'll say your name, your location, and then it'll say, like in red, it'll say sun sign, and underneath that it'll say ascendant. So that's how you can tell. You can also see on the wheel there'll be the symbol of the sign right there. So if you don't know how to read symbols, it'll just be up on the top of the left-hand chart, top left part of the chart for you. That's my favorite one. There's also Cafe Astrology has a great birth chart calculator and a lot of great free reports there as well. And Astro Charts has really beautiful charts, astro-charts.com, and they have some really beautiful charts, and actually a whole plethora of celebrity charts, which are really fun to look into as well. So once you find your ascendant sign, you're going to want to know what the planet is, and so I'll tell you right now. So If you are an Aries rising, you are going to be ruled by the planet Mars. And you're going to want to really, really keep in touch with where Mars is in the sky on the day-to-day transits for you. If you are a Taurus, you're going to be ruled by the planet Venus. So you're going to want to really, and if you're a Taurus rising, I should keep saying that. If you're a Taurus rising, you're going to want to really keep in touch where Venus is in the sky. If you are a Gemini rising, you're going to want to keep in touch with where Mercury is currently in the sky, and also in your natal chart as well. I should say that as well. If you are a Cancer rising, then you're going to be really affected by the moon. So you're actually they say Cancer risings and Cancers are super affected all the time. They're super emotional and they're super moody. But the moon is the fastest moving planet. So you're going to really be super affected constantly by the moon, because it's constantly in orbit, constantly running through the signs. And it changes every 1 or 2 days. So it's constantly also just within the day, we might hit something, make an aspect with Mars or something across the sky, and then by the end of the day, it's already moved on to another aspect with, Venus or something. So you will be super, super affected, Cancer rising. So you have to really keep in touch with where the moon is. And it will be exhausting because the moon is moving constantly. If you're a Leo rising, then you are going to be really affected by the seasonal changes of the months, because the sun moves into a different sign almost every month, right? Or it does every month, but 30 days. So you're going to be really affected by hashtag Aquarius season, like we are right now, or next month, hashtag Pisces season. You're going to really go with those seasonal changes. But you also have to look out to what other planets are hitting you on the day-to-day as well for those aspects. If you are a Virgo rising, you're going to want to also look at Mercury for you, and maybe even Chiron, because Chiron is associated with Virgo, but it moves slower, but other planets will be hitting Chiron that move faster. So look out for Mercury and Chiron if you want to go in a little bit deeper to see what you can expect on your day and how you might be feeling. Just gives you another layer onto how you're feeling other than the day-to-day transits on the generalized horoscope. I've really noticed that if Venus is in hard aspect to something in the transit horoscope, that I kind of feel that more, even if it's not as tight of a aspect as other things that are going on throughout the day for other planets. So Libra rising, you are also going to want to look out for Venus as well. Watch out for what's happening with Venus. You'll super feel it within your relationships and things like that. So, and I know that's important to you. It's definitely important to me as a Libra rising to make sure that your life is going harmoniously, please God. So, if you are a Scorpio rising, you're going to want to look out for not only Pluto, who moves very, very slowly, but things will be hitting it, right? Because the other planets move fast and make aspects to it. But you're also going to look at Mars as well, because Mars was actually the traditional ruler of Scorpio before we found out about Pluto. So check out where Mars is in the sky, because he moves pretty quickly as well, at least compared to Pluto. If you are Sagittarius, then you need to watch out for where Jupiter is in the sky. Jupiter usually sits in a sign for about 11 months to a year, and it really kind of color your year, because you're going to be very affected by that. But also you're going to want to look out for the other faster moving planets that are going to make aspects to it in the sky, and you'll be affected by that. So make sure you know what's going on with Jupiter on the day-to-day. Let's see. Capricorn. You're going to want to look out for Saturn, and Saturn sits in usually makes like a 2.5 year transit through a sign, and it might go retrograde, might not go retrograde, but you're going to want to look at the day-to-day of where Saturn is not only sitting and especially in what house for you, but like also the planets, the faster moving planets that are going to be making aspects to Saturn on the day-to-day, and they will hit them and you might feel them, or you might feel better because maybe it's a benefic planet that's hitting Saturn, maybe it's making a trine, things like that. So sorry, super look out for Saturn. Super look out. Okay, Aquarius. Aquarius, you're going to want to look out for Uranus because it is your main ruling planet now. And you want to look out for the faster moving planets. It's a slower moving one. That one takes like 8-9 years to transit a sign. So that one's going to be slow moving, and you're really going to just have more of like a decade feeling of on the color spectrum for signs on how you're experiencing your life. But also you're going to want to keep up on the day-to-day transits that are hitting Uranus. You can also look at Saturn because that's also the traditional ruler for Aquarius before Uranus was discovered. And for Pisces, not last but not least, you're going to want to look out for Neptune. And Neptune takes a very, 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 very long time, and you'll have other of the faster moving inner planets hitting it. So you want to look out for Neptune, but you also want to look out for Jupiter. It's the traditional ruler for Pisces, and you're gonna want to make sure that you and these are for the rising. I should say that again: Pisces rising, Aquarius rising, Capricorn rising. You're going to want to look out for what's happening with Jupiter, if there's any major aspects on the day-to-day transits happening with Jupiter. So this is how you can kind of get a better feel for your life, other than just the generalized horoscope that you kind of see in the newspaper, in the magazine, or online. You really are going to keep up more with your rising sign than your sun sign for those horoscopes. And then if you're following the planets, if you're following transit planets, or you want to get even a better feel for what is something that you have to look at in your own natal, really look at your ruling planet, and that's the planet that rules your ascendant. So that was what this video was just about. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you next time. Just want to say a quick thank you so much for subscribing to the page. This fourth house has been growing really, really a lot this month, and it's the first month of launching, so when I put out this video. So thank you so much for all the support, all of the messages, all the comments, all of this likes and subscribe. It's really, really dope, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. I'm trying to build this community, this home, this tribe, so I hope you guys are enjoying it and are with me for the long haul, because I'm here to stay. So thank you so much, y'all. I will see you next time here at the fourth house with me, Mamita.